Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday
Woo-hoo.
and happy birthday to my sister Victoria.
Woo-hoo. Shout out.
You better be watching this episode because it's your birthday episode.
Very true.
So shout out.
And while we're at it, happy Pride. That is the last time we are saying that in 2025. It's the last week of Pride, so go celebrate.
Pride is every day.
Every single day we're prideful, for sure. But, it's the month, so.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. Savannah, we have an update for the people.
We do actually have multiple updates. So which one do you want to do first?
We do. Why is my voice trying to leave me? Guys, I'm here, but my voice is trying to go. I was going to talk about the movie that we went and saw.
Oh, yes. We finally did a what's it called?
Screen Unseen.
Yes, at AMC, where they show just a random movie that is not out yet.
You don't know what it is.
Yeah, you don't know what it is.
The only information that you get is the rating. So this one was rated R, and you get the approximate runtime. It's never the exact runtime, but it was approximately an hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was the movie 40 Acres.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was really good. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, it was like an apocalypse movie, and I love apocalypse movies.
Same.
So
it was so good. Gosh, I had such a good time. And honestly, I loved going in not knowing what it was. It was so fun. And also, I was curious if they printed it out, if the name was going to be on like the ticket update. It wasn't. It said Screen Unseen.
Yeah.
So I want to go to a Scream Unseen, which is like a horror movie. But I mean, low-key, the movie we saw was low-key a horror movie, I would say.
It kind of was.
Very low-key, but like...
It was, yeah.
It was on the line, for sure. It was really good, though.
Yeah.
So if that movie is near you, go see it whenever it comes out. It's really, really good.
It was.
But another update is... We got real Labubu's, guys.
We did. I know, yeah. At first, we did get the fake ones like a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
But Taylor came through, and she got us real Labubus.
I did. I had to wait in such a long line outside in the heat, honey. I was not expecting that. I thought I was just going to be able to go up into the store. I don't know why I thought that. But no, I had to wait outside for an hour before the store even opened.
It was an hour?
It was like 45, 50 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was already a line when I got there an hour early. So I was like, well, I might as well go get in line. And it's a good thing I did, because by the time the store was open, the line was wrapped around the whole entire building.
Oh my God.
It was insane. And when I finally got inside the store, I saw there was only 3 boxes of Labubus. And there was probably like 7 people in front of me. And I was like, guys, that math is not good math. And I was like, if I waited all this time and I'm not getting a Labubu, I will be so mad. But they came through, they brought out more boxes, and we did, in fact, get some real Labubus. Yeah. Go on Instagram or TikTok to see them. They're so cute.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I got happiness.
I got luck.
Yeah. So
beautiful. And we did yesterday. We made a little trip to Hobby Lobby because we wanted to, dress them up a little bit. So what does your Labubu have, Savannah?
Mine, I got her a little, I found like a random mini stuffed bunny. And I was like, this is adorable. Like, she has her own little friend. So now she's
your
a little
friend
bunny.
Has a little friend.
Yes. Yeah. And then a chain.
Have to.
Have to have the chain.
Have to.
And a backpack. She has a cute little backpack.
Yes, our Labubus have matching backpacks. They're both purple. They're so cute. There's nothing currently in our Labubu backpacks, but there will eventually be.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be. We're going
to have to pack them up.
Yeah, they got to get ready.
Yeah.
So. But mine has 2 chains.
2 chains.
Because 2 chains. True. Yeah. But, yeah, and then... Yeah, so I have 2 chains and a backpack, and that's really all. I do have a shirt, but she's not wearing it currently right now. It's a little big on her.
Yeah, I know. So. I have one too, but I feel like that's more for the Lofufu. Like, she can keep
So hers. True. That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. We love the Labubu update. And if you don't know what that is, honestly, just go Google it. You'll go down a rabbit hole. It's just a cute little purse accessory, but
it is.
They're adorable, and I love them. But I'm officially done. I'm not getting any more. Don't come at
Okay,
me.
apparently they're getting harder and harder to get,
Yeah, they
too,
are.
so
And it's crazy because the day after I went to that store to get the Labubu, they announced like they're not doing any more Labubus
that's
for
crazy.
not for a while. And I'm like, well, it's a good thing I went.
Wow. Ours are probably going to be worth so much money.
Yeah, good. And I will sell it. So
It's
if
an
you want my
investment.
Labubu, let me know how much you'll pay for it, and I'll let you know if you can have it.
Oh my gosh. I'm keeping mine for now, at least. Like,
Yeah. Well, if somebody made the right offer, I would
yeah,
I would let it go.
Sure.
But let me know.
Mhm.
No, I love her. But I do have to say to the people,
Okay.
because I know you're not watching Love Island.
No.
It physically pains me. Anybody out there who's watching Love Island, somebody please talk to me about it because it's so crazy. Like, if you know what I'm saying right now. And all I can think, it's just my favorite thing in the summer is Love Island. It comes on every single day, a new episode, except for Wednesdays. And Saturdays is like, it's called After Sun, where they like discuss what happened in the week. I don't watch Wednesdays or Saturdays.
Okay.
I just want the drama.
You're like, I'm not about that.
Like 5 days of the week is already enough, you know?
Yeah.
So I just watch every other day. But it's so fun. It's every summer and it's just so much drama. And you get to vote on things that happen in the show. And I always thought it was fake. Like they didn't actually take it into consideration. Yeah. But I think with everybody like on TikTok, it's a little bit easier for everybody to kind of be on the same page because we can all kind of talk to each other. And we all really messed up our Sims in this little Love Island game.
No.
By the last vote of what we did. We like broke up every partner that was like it was crazy. It was crazy. And they were like, why would America do this to us? And I'm sitting there like
wait, I didn't realize there was like interaction from the audience. Maybe I should.
You should.
I feel like I should start watching.
There's only 10 episodes right now, so you could really get caught up.
How many is there gonna be? A lot?
Probably like till like mid-July. So like another month. Not too many. Okay. Not too much longer. But like it's the perfect time. Like if you go much longer without watching it, you won't be able to get caught up.
Okay.
But there's definitely episodes you can skip.
Yeah.
They do recaps, you know?
Okay. What's it on?
Peacock.
Oh.
You don't have Peacock?
No, but like maybe it's worth it to get it. I don't know. I'll think about it.
I would share, but they're evil and they do that thing where you have to be in the same house if you want to share.
It's one of those ones.
Boo. Big boo.
Big boo.
Sorry, Peacock. I do love Peacock, but big boo that we can't share a password. But unless you have any more intro topics, I guess it's time to get into the tarot of the week.
Yes.
Savannah, do you want to tell them what we kind of maybe discovered last week, though, about these tarot cards?
Do you
remember?
What did we determine? Because I know we had a few different theories about it.
Yeah, we did. But we kind of, like, at the end of yesterday, I mean, not yesterday, last week, when we were recording, we kind of found out at least the past 3 weeks, the cards have been kind of foreshadowing our stories.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah.
And so last week's, the card was the Hermit reversed. And one of the main word on that was depression. And both of our stories were dealing with suicide.
Yes.
And depression, obviously.
Okay. So maybe that's what it's going to happen this time. Like maybe we've been unintentionally putting our intentions into them. I
mean, if you think about it, our intentions while we're sitting here recording the podcast are us recording the podcast. So, you know.
Yeah. So
I guess we'll see. We'll see. Let us know. But also, if you've been watching the videos, Savannah has been the one who has been shuffling these tarot cards and, you know, drawing them.
Maybe they can see the tarot cards if you move your...
Oh, you're so right.
Today I moved the job to Taylor because I'm like, maybe she would be a better shuffler than me.
Right.
We're just trying it out. And also... that's all.
Okay. She said that's all. Okay. So here we go. It's time for some card ASMR.
There we go. Perfect. Oh my god, that was so good.
Thanks. I learned to play poker from a young age because my family, they're like all avid poker players.
See, I knew it, and I knew that you would be better at this than me because I honestly did not really grow up playing cards. I've always been really bad at shuffling. I'm I'm
To
getting
be
better.
fair,
Okay.
these cards are really big, so they're
They
really
are.
hard to
Yeah,
shuffle.
they are. They are.
Like, I can normally, like, with regular cards, I can, like, make a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do that with these. Maybe if I had... Oh, actually, I did do it.
That was good.
Guys, if you were watching that, you cannot tell me that was not so fire.
That was.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
The Empress reversed.
The Empress. Okay.
It's a beautiful card.
Okay. The Empress. Astrological correspondence is Venus.
Okay.
So, okay. The Empress is the manifestation of creation, the mother. She invites you to reconnect with the natural world and nourish what we have created.
Okay.
So that's amazing. It's reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. The reversed is neglect, indecisiveness, disconnection, and resistance.
Okay. That's very interesting. Well, whether the cards be for us, for the listeners, for the stories,
it's for something.
You know, let us know. Let us know what you guys think about the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. That was fun, though. I really like shuffling those cards. I cannot lie.
See, yeah.
Fun. But anyways, if you do not mind, please go review and rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But if you want to get into your story, Savannah.
Okay. We're going to get... Oh, did I? Oh, no. Sorry, I couldn't hear myself for a second.
Oh.
All right, we're going to get right on into it. Well, actually not right on into it. I do have a little preface for this. So we have been watching The Rehearsal with Nathan Fielder.
We sure have.
I don't know if we might have mentioned that before. I don't know. We are late on this one.
Oh, we're so late.
We're late on this one a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just finished season... Well, we both finished season 2.
We only watched season 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch season 1. But it is... I don't know. It had me cracking up the whole time. And also just, like, learning all that stuff about airplanes and how, like, there's such an issue with, like, being the pilot and co-pilot, like...
The power issues in between them.
Yes, and, like, just talking to each other.
No, it actually did scare me. It scared me. I was already scared of planes. And now I'm like, okay, now that I know that tension in the cockpit is a problem, that is worse.
Yeah. Well...
But it's fine.
After watching that, I was like, let me look into some sort of plane story.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So we're going to be talking about a plane crash.
Oh, yikes.
Well, plane crash / disappearance.
Oh,
well,
dun dun dun.
Kind of. So, Alaskan Flight 293.
Okay.
Alaska. Yes. So, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 293. And this was actually a military charter. So, an American military charter. So, not really like everyday... I don't know how to say it, like civilians, I guess.
Yeah, not a civilian plane.
Not just like a regular airline.
Yeah.
This was taking military people to another base. And it happened June 3rd. So, June. We're still in June. Of 1963.
Okay.
So, a while ago. This plane, it crashed into the sea off of the coast of Alaska. There were 101 people on board, passengers and crew, and there were no survivors.
Oh my gosh, what? Okay, that's horrible.
I know. So this plane was chartered by the U.S. Air Force to carry servicemen and their families from McChord Air Force Base in Washington State to Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska. And so they took off in the morning, I believe around like 7 a.m. They're like taking off. And then the last radio contact was at 10:06 a.m. And the crew requested a change of flight level, which, do I know what that is? No, not really.
That doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it sounds kind of normal to me. It doesn't really sound... Right?
Maybe. I'm like, I'm thinking like if they need to go either higher or lower, something is wrong.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But I
True.
mean, I don't know. What do I know? I'm not Nathan Fielder.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fly a plane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Um, so that was the last thing that they heard from them, and nothing more was heard for over an hour. And then they were like, okay, like we need to start a search for them because they have not contacted us in an hour,
Yeah,
and they should probably like be there by now.
definitely.
Um, so the search began at 11:16 a.m. for this plane, and at 7:22 p.m. uh they did end up finding debris of the plane
What?
floating in the Gulf of Alaska.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. It was found floating 182 miles from Annette Island in Alaska, and 1,500 pounds of wreckage was uncovered.
Oh my
Or
god.
was recovered, yeah. Life vests and like deformed seat frames, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, no bodies were ever recovered. So I don't really know how that can be possible.
I mean, was it on fire? Like was it burning?
I don't have anything saying that it was.
Then that's weird. I don't know. Like there's no arm, there's nothing. No
They
evidence of
said
nothing. That's crazy.
what I saw said no bodies were recovered, which to me means no body parts either.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
So
you
I'm
would
like,
assume.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that
That's
part,
weird.
That's the weird part to me.
That's very
It's
weird.
like, where did they go? Like what?
Right. And like they would have definitely mentioned like, oh yeah, all the debris was on fire. Like
Yeah,
why would they not have
maybe.
said that?
Like I guess they could have sank down.
I was gonna say, what if they drowned
Yeah.
though? Because it's on the water, right? Like what if they were like hooked,
Yeah.
like their seatbelts couldn't get unhooked?
Also, how heavy is an airplane? Because this
Very.
is 1,500 pounds of wreckage.
Yeah, that's not a. I was gonna say that next. That's
It's
not a lot.
Okay.
No, I think planes are like tons
Yeah, actually, you're
with
probably
all the
right.
with all the stuff and the people and the metal.
Yeah. Well, there was wreckage to be found lower into the ocean, but they didn't really like go down there and look for it as much. Like they
Why did they not?
So they said wreckage was found 8,000 feet below the surface.
8,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So that's
I guess
probably
that's why.
why.
Okay.
So
Also,
they weren't able to go in there.
I did look up a plane with passengers, like typically like a regular plane is like 40 tons, which is 90,000 pounds.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is technically like on the smaller side of planes. It says larger planes like an Airbus could be over 1 million pounds.
Okay.
Which is like 450 tons.
So 1,500 pounds is like 1%.
That's like the first
1%.
maybe 4 rows of the plane or something like that. Like maybe 2 rows, you know? Like it's like 4 seats.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's
Yeah. So that's
I think I also underestimated how deep the ocean was there.
Yeah. I mean,
like that's very deep.
Yeah. So it was found to be that deep below the surface, and the accident review board, because remember, this is a military plane, so the military is investigating it, right? They concluded that because of a lack of evidence, the board is unable to determine the probable cause of the accident. Because all of their evidence is at the bottom of the ocean. Which I guess makes sense, but like...
No, actually, I don't think it makes sense. Wait, when did this happen again?
60s.
Okay. I don't trust them. I'm sorry.
Like, do we have the... Okay.
Guys, yes.
I think I'm very much underestimating or like not understanding how deep 8,000 feet is, because I'm like, can we go down there?
I don't know.
How deep was the submersible when it...
No! I know Savannah is not talking about OJK right now.
I'm just wondering, like, to compare.
Okay, I'm looking. How many feet down?
Oh my gosh.
Was Ocean Gate? It was 12,500 feet down when it exploded.
Okay. So this
unfortunately
is not quite as deep, but
But I mean, so they technically and theoretically could absolutely go that far down.
How deep can a submarine go?
Meters, so that's times it by 3. I think that's math. If it's not, I'm so sorry. One thing I cannot do is math, and I will always say that. Always, always, always. I have never really understood like water and like, I mean, I understand why we can't go down like in the water deep because of, the pressure and stuff. But that's so scary to me. And like when people go scuba diving, when they get the bends, because you have to see, that's how I know I could never go scuba diving, because I would panic.
Right.
I would have a panic attack under the water, and I would need to get up immediately and you can't do that, or you get the bends.
Yes, that scares me so much. I don't think I could ever do that either.
Same.
It's just not.
Like I would love to, because that's honestly the closest you could probably get to going to a different planet.
Yeah.
On Earth.
Yeah.
Because you are in a different planet. You're like oxygen, none.
It's scary in so many ways though. The animals. You
The
could
water.
run out of oxygen. You can't get up fast enough to get out of there.
Like, you also can't see. Yes. Because like, one of our best friends, Dina, she has went scuba diving, and she says once you're down so far, you actually can't see which side is left, right, up, and down. You can't determine
terrifying. It. What?
And I'm like, I can't even imagine that, because like that's going down so far to the point where like the sun isn't even, like you're barely, if you can't tell which is up and down, that's so scary. Maybe I could be brave enough, but I think I would be very afraid that I would have a panic attack down there. And that's the last place I want to have a panic attack.
I don't think that's just
not for us.
For me.
Not for us, no.
Okay, so I did look up like how deep like a Navy submarine would go, like 4,000 feet.
Okay.
And this is 8,000 feet, so I do get it. Okay, so like they just couldn't get down there, right?
Yeah.
So they don't really have any evidence, so they're like, we're just gonna say like we're unable to determine it. We don't know what happened. But like, what do we think happened? There are a few theories out there. Because obviously people are just gonna come up with their theories, and also there is a little bit of gossip from pilot to pilot, that people might know something of what happened. So we'll see.
I'm excited.
So the first theory I have is that it was like just a mechanical failure in one of the engines, and it kind of made them lose control and crash, or just a sudden structural failure and like I guess fell apart. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
which it would be crazy.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. So either one of them, I guess, could happen.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, unless their radio stopped working, why would they not radio and say like, "Hey guys, like we're crashing"?
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because I mean, I do personally think something was wrong, and that's why they needed to drop or go higher, whichever one they needed to change the altitude.
Yeah.
But like, that's obviously not, oh, the plane is crashing like right now vibes. They'd be like, oh, we need help. They wouldn't be like, yeah, we need to go down a couple 100 feet.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah. The next theory, which is probably like the biggest theory, I think you're gonna believe it just because of what you just said. So, okay, before I even say what it is, what would you think they would be trying to get out of the way of or something,
Don't tell me it's a UFO. I mean, I guess another plane or something else in the air. That's the only thing I can imagine.
How about a missile?
Okay, I was not thinking you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess maybe a missile.
Okay. Let's get into this theory. So, a woman named Irene Johnson, her husband was a member of the cabin crew on this flight. And she says that in 1968, so years after this crash, someone bought her home, and the man who bought her home worked for the FAA in Seattle. And he said that he saw a report about this plane attributing the loss to a missile. And apparently the missile was accidentally fired by an American fighter pilot. So,
wow.
and research confirms that the man who bought Irene Johnson's house, he did work for the FAA, but he has since passed, so he was not able to like be interviewed on this afterwards. Like by the time the article I read was out.
Yeah.
So they weren't able to like check with him or anything, but he did work there, so I guess this is probable that like he could have said that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's a retired flight attendant named Darlene Javine, and she also has heard similar stories about this plane was hit by a missile. And the pilot's son, actually, Fred Olson, he believes that it could have been a missile as well, which he does say that it would take blame away from his dad. So he's like kind of like, okay, like, yeah, I kind of like that story just because then it's not his fault that it crashed.
I kind of wouldn't say either way it's his fault that they crashed.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it was engine failure? It's not like he built the engine.
I know.
Or, you know, like I'm sure whatever happened, he did whatever he could to not crash the plane, you know?
Yeah. I mean, actually though, when you bringing it back to the rehearsal.
Yeah.
In that show, Nathan, you know, he's getting ready to fly a plane with like a bunch of passengers on it, and he says that the pilot or the captain, the pilot, is like responsible for like making sure the plane is safe.
Yeah.
So I guess that's maybe what he means.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's definitely what he means, but like I just had to throw it out there. You know, he's literally, it was not his fault. And also to his son, if he's listening, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah. And actually, like, I don't know if that was just like in his case he was responsible, but I feel like
all pilots just, I feel like that's part of the job.
They do like some checks and make sure.
Oh, for sure. But I also feel like that's just like part of the role. Like that kind of like a police officer in a way, like when, like, you know, you're taking the role to protect, you know, like they are taking the role to fly the plane, but they're flying the plane to get people safely from A and B. So like, it's just, you know, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That shout out to the pilots out there because I could quite literally never do that.
No.
Ever. But I mean, you said I would believe it. I 100% believe that it's the missile. I'm sorry.
I know.
I mean, you said it happened. You know, it's the military plane.
Yes.
It's the military missile.
So
obviously the military wouldn't be like, all right, yeah, guys. So yeah, one of our fighter jets, they accidentally, you know, they shot a missile and it blew the plane up. Sorry about that. They would never do that. They would never do that. And so American military, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I'm not blaming you, but
you are.
I'm just saying that's my theory that I personally believe.
But
because why did they need to change the altitude, guys?
I know.
Yeah, any pilots though, if you are a pilot or know anything about aviation, like, are there other reasons? I mean, maybe a storm. I could think maybe a storm would maybe be another reason that they would need to change their altitude. But what other reason would you need to change the altitude for?
To land, but like...
Yeah, but they weren't. But they weren't landing. They were not close, right? Not that close.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Because, I don't know. That's, like...
I know.
Like, what? And don't you dare tell me that's all you have.
That's pretty much all I have. Well, I do have that... So I said that the pilot's son kind of believes this, but he actually had talked to other pilots, you know, because I guess they're his dad's friends probably, you know. They all know him. Talked to other pilots about it, and he asked what they had heard because the gossip gets around. And yeah, that they all confirmed. They're like, yeah, we heard that it was a missile.
Oh my, okay.
And if this is the case, like you said, like this is just a cover up from the Air Force. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, listen, I'm definitely not saying that I'm taking the side of the Air Force, but it's not like that. You think that we as a people would respond well if the Air Force is like, yeah, one of our guys accidentally shut the plane down.
I know.
If they said that, as a country, we would unravel. You know what I'm saying?
Especially in the 60s.
Yeah. Like, no, that would have been the end. So, if that's what happened, it's like the most unfortunate thing I've ever heard in my whole life. But, like, it's not, the military could never come out and say that.
I know. Yeah.
So, it's like, yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. Also, it would very much so explain why there's only 1,500 pounds of
I know.
debris.
Yeah, and no bodies.
And no bodies. Honey, they're gone. They were blown up with the missile.
Well, they say they're either there or down in the ocean, but maybe it's not even in the ocean.
I feel like
It's just evaporated. What if like that the debris they found is not even from the plane?
And that was another thing that I was going to say. Like,
major cover up.
Is there even proof that is from that plane?
According to them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they would say that. Yeah, I'm sure they would. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate not having the answers. Guys,
I know.
That's horrible. And I feel so bad for all those people. Because you said it's the people and their families trapped. Yeah. Like, that's horrible. Yeah. Like, oh my God.
And the crew.
It's so scary to me. It's so scary. Mm-hmm. Wild. Well, Savannah, our stories are so similar.
Are they really?
Yeah.
There's no way.
And, like, maybe I was sitting here the whole time, like, maybe it was my subconscious picking the story because we have been watching the rehearsal, but no, because I remember precisely why I chose this story, and it has maybe it just happened, I think it is, maybe this time it is coincidence.
Yeah.
But it's also weird because I was looking again at our analytics to see, if anything changed, who's listening, and I was like, okay, let's see. Canada, guys, shout out to Canada. They've been listening a lot more. So I was like, let me do a Canada story.
Okay.
And then I just looked up, legends in Canada, and that's how I found this. So I wasn't looking for airplane story at all, but alas, here we are. Yeah. So for you, I have the legend of the Shag Harbour UFO.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. If you are watching the video, yes, indeed, I have had my little alien mask on my computer the whole time, and it's so cute. So if you want to see it, you got to check out the video. But yes, like I said, this week's story is going to take us to Canada, and specifically, it's going to be in Shag Harbour, Nova Scotia. And so this place, it's a really, really tiny fishing village on the Atlantic coast, and the harbor is named after the shag bird that lives in the area. So I guess the birds, they're just filling the area up. So that's why it's called that. Mm-hmm. And essentially, it was such a small town, like nobody had heard of it. And like, you always hear that with small towns, like, oh, nobody's ever heard of it. But it was so unheard of, actually, that it was left off of maps most of the time in this time period. And we're talking 1960s. So yes, our stories are so similar. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy. But yeah, so it was literally left off of maps because that's how many people did not know about this town.
Or like just didn't care. They're like, we're not putting it on there.
They're like, who cares? Not me. Nobody knows Shag Harbour. But now everybody knows Shag Harbour. And that is because in 1967, something so wild would take place, it would change the history of this town forever. Dun, dun, dun. So let's get into it. On the night of October 4th, 1967, that's when the things went down in Shag Harbour, okay? The first indication of this mysterious occurrence would come from the locals who noticed some strange orange lights in the sky.
Okay.
Just one night, Almost all of the witnesses claim that they saw 4 orange lights in the sky that evening. 5 teenagers claimed to watch these lights flash and then suddenly dive at like a 45-degree angle, and they were floating above the water, the harbor. Okay. And so when they dove down, these teenagers say that they saw them dive like directly towards the water, but they didn't go in the water. But let me just go ahead and immediately say the fact that all of this is happening around water already plays into our alien theory that we have, running on this podcast. Like, do the aliens live in the water?
Right.
Because they might.
Okay.
If you don't know, the ocean, very unexplored. I mean, as Savannah's even told you, we couldn't even go 8,000 feet to
I
get,
know.
like,
Yeah.
we can't go very far.
Which,
So,
thinking about that is actually pretty crazy.
right.
You can't.
I'm saying. Like, that's scary. So, like, actually, for real, is that where the aliens are?
Mhm.
We don't know. So, that's, a theory for what people, who believe in aliens, that's what they think. So, I'm just saying it's suspicious that this is happening around the ocean.
Mhm.
Or maybe it's just a coincidence, but I don't know. There's just so many coincidences. Like, are they all? But anyway, the witnesses, they they were surprised that even though the lights, it looked like they went into the water, like I said, they didn't actually go into the water because they could see once the water kind of settled, the lights were actually floating on top of the water.
Okay.
And so they're like, okay, like maybe we're seeing a plane crash happening in front of us. Obviously, logically, the people in this small town are not at first like, it's aliens.
Right.
They're
like you wouldn't go to that first.
Yeah, they're like, it's a plane crash. And so all of these people, all at the same time, they all call in to the police. And they're like, hi, we're seeing debris fall from a plane crash. That's the reports that they are telling the police.
Yeah.
And so the witnesses, they call the Royal Canadian Mounted Police also, because we're in Canada. So these are the police on the horses.
Love that.
Yeah, so fun. And what's funny is that the constable at the time, so that's one of like the leaders of the police force, he actually witnessed the lights himself. He was off duty at the time, but he was driving towards the harbor when he saw 4 orange lights, and he said that they were attached to one flying craft that he estimated to be about 60 feet long.
Oh,
so
wow.
60 feet long is about a little bit over half of a football field. So, I mean,
Dang.
It's small, but it's not that small,
Yeah, like
it's pretty big. It's pretty big. So, obviously, this man, his name is Constable Pound, by the way. He immediately is driving as close as he can to see, like, what's going on. Because he's like, okay, this is a plane crash, too. I'm a police officer. I need to go help.
Yeah.
So, he gets there, and the other police officers, for all the people who's already called, they all kind of get there at the same time. And everybody, including the police, all the witnesses, everyone, is just standing there watching these lights. And so it's these yellow lights, and it's moving, just sitting on top of the water, floating, moving just a little bit with the water. And as it's moving in the water, people are starting to notice that it's leaving like a yellow foam behind. Like, as the balls are kind of floating in the water, there's like a little trail of yellow foam.
What is happening here?
It's weird. It's really weird. And everybody's eyes, obviously, they're glued to the lights. But as they're watching, suddenly they're just moving either too distant, like too far into the distance, or into the water. They're getting so far away that people can't tell. But all of a sudden, they're completely gone. Out of sight. Nobody can see them anymore. So people don't actually know if it went down or if it just went out into the water. But either way, out of vision from the people on the shore at this point. But what they could still see was the yellow foam that it left behind. Okay. So keep that in mind. The Coast Guard, obviously, they were called in too. They get there and they went out to see if they could find anything. Unfortunately, they couldn't. They, went out farther than people could see, but they couldn't find the light. So we have to assume it probably did go down instead of out, because the Coast Guard did look.
Right.
So the lights, they were never found again, but the Coast Guard did find the foam, and they actually, collected some. And they said that since the way, apparently, I don't know the science behind this at all, but they said the way that the foam was found, I guess the direction that it was like sitting in, it was an indication to them that the light did in fact submerge into the water instead of going out farther into the ocean.
Okay, like I can kind of get that.
I mean,
it like looks like it.
Yeah, because the foam is like following the direction of the light, so it looks like it went down.
Okay.
So the Coast Guard was like, yeah, the light, it went down into the water. Okay, so what do you mean the light went down into the water, guys?
Right.
What do you mean? Coast Guard, explain that. So yeah, anyway, the Coast Guard, all the police, all these people, they're searching for this light until 3 a.m. They're like, we don't want to give up. Because, like, what if it comes back? And I get that,
Yeah.
I would feel the same way. But at 3 a.m., they're like, guys, it's not coming back. We got to go. Like, we need to go. And so they did. Everybody went home, and the police ended up checking with all the air traffic controls, and officially no aircrafts were missing that evening, not civilian, not military, nothing. So it's like
Okay.
plane crash,
So
like
it's
maybe
not
if
a
it was
plane crash.
somebody who was secretly flying a plane that nobody knew about, which is not really even possible.
Right.
But essentially, we know nothing. People saw the light, and then it disappeared, and it left this really weird foam, and that's all they know.
What? Okay, so you said they collected the foam. Did they test it or anything?
I don't think so, because it was 1967, and I don't really know, like, what do you test it even for?
I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like if it was today, they would collect it and test
For
it
sure.
for like
DNA.
to see if it was biological material
Yeah.
or like made from specimens in the lake.
Totally.
Because like, what if it's just like
Mhm.
algae, a weird form of algae
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what it is.
No, it's very true.
Yeah, I guess I was just curious, like, to see if they knew what it was made out of after testing it, but sounds like they didn't really do that.
No. Well, no, I'm sure they did, but also, like, most in 1967, one thing I will tell you, science was not updated in 1967.
Well,
DNA evidence can't even be studied till like 2001, 2002.
True.
So I know that they did look into it, but we don't have any answers from it.
Yeah.
So
no
nothing
answers.
conclusive came from the foam.
Okay.
Other than the direction that the light went.
Yeah.
So the day after the event, the police filed a report with the Canadian Forces headquarters in Ottawa, and they list the object to be of unknown origin, obviously. And, the facts in the report that they listed was that something of unknown origin did hit the water in Shag Harbour and could not be found after that. So, obviously, once they sent this report in, the Canadian Forces, they sent out divers to the location where they searched for several days with absolutely no findings at all. Nothing. Not even, like, the foam was gone at this point. There was nothing left behind.
Dang.
At all. And as quickly as the news, came in about the crash and all this stuff, it's as quickly as it left again.
Really? People just stopped caring about it?
I don't think people stopped caring, but there was just no answers.
Yeah.
And so they were like,
They're like, whatever.
I guess we can't care anymore because there's nothing else to know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were no more updates to the story, and people got back to their regular life.
Yeah.
That is until 1993, nearly 30 years later.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm sure, as you can imagine, there were tons of theories going around at the time as to what it could have been. And one major theory was that it was a Russian spacecraft that was there to spy.
What?
I feel like that's everybody's first theory. Anytime there's like a random object, they're like, it's Russian spies. I just feel like people have seen too many James Bond movies.
Right,
maybe.
like too many spy movies.
Right. And they're like, it's the Russian spies, obviously. Because who else would it be?
Because they're the evil ones.
Right.
Obviously.
Like, we're not saying that Russia. We're just saying that's the stereotype. At least over here, we hear it all the time. Yeah, in the movies.
Like, okay, Stranger Things, like.
That's so true.
It's everywhere.
That's so true. It's so true. But the reason, actually, that this theory of the Russian spacecraft could maybe be possible is because it went along with the rumor that also in the area, and people actually knew about this rumor before the lights. So that kind of makes it a little bit suspicious.
Okay.
Apparently there is a Russian submarine in the area as well at this time. Okay? And so people were like, listen, we already knew about the Russian submarine.
Okay.
So now the fact that we're seeing something weird fall from the sky into the water.
Yeah. So confirmed. It was Russian.
Listen. Confirmed. The submarine was Russian, yes.
Okay.
That is confirmed. So they were like, it's them. But, is it? Another theory we have. This one, Savannah, had me shook. Because I think it's the first time I've ever seen it. And as I was reading it, like, to myself, I was like, oh, this is the first time in my life that I've seen this theory. The second most important theory is that it could have actually been the American military spying.
Oh my gosh.
And, like, we're
spying just...
American, so people don't, they're not like, oh, there's American spies, you know? But this is in Canada. And they're like, yeah, I see American spies.
Yeah. Okay, actually, though, I am gonna say I did forget it was in Canada until you said that.
No, I do understand that. I do.
Oh my gosh.
But
Okay.
there has never been an official statement from the American military either way. They have been asked about this, like, could it have been you? They didn't say no, and they didn't say yes. They just said,
Okay,
they said no comment.
why are both of our stories
I
the
know.
military?
I'm saying our stories are so similar. It's actually insane. It's actually really
We
crazy.
have some sort of like brain connection.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Or maybe it's just because we've been doing this for almost 5 years and it's just like, you know.
I don't know.
I really promise on every single thing, we do not tell each other our stories. And I feel like nobody has ever said to us, like, oh, we don't believe you. But I feel like the people don't believe us, you know?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how to promise you, but like, pinky promise you. The only thing, like this week, the only thing we told each other, I said my story's in Canada, and she said her story is in wherever it was.
You don't even remember.
Where is it
Alaska.
from? Oh, Alaska. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to finish my story, but can you remind me that I did have another theory that I forgot for your story?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go back to it.
Okay, please remind me. But anyway, finishing my story. They were like, it could be the American military spying. I'm just going to say right now, I wouldn't put it past them, baby. It probably is. It probably is not the Russian spies. It probably is the American spies.
It really could have been.
Knowing what I know. So, but anyway, this whole story of this, weird UFO in Shag Harbour, it would come back to life literally 30 years later with the help of MUFON. Do you know what MUFON is?
Mm-mm.
MUFON is the world's largest and oldest civilian UFO investigation and research network.
What?
So I feel like
Why have we never talked about this?
I don't know. But they talk about it on Mile Higher all the time.
Okay.
With their alien stories.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. It's just like UFO investigators. Yeah. The biggest group of them.
Right. So, okay.
Not saying that necessarily, like, credits them to be knowing what they're talking about, but maybe, maybe more than the others.
Right.
Because it is like the largest established organization for UFO investigations. Yeah. So, take that with what you will. But MUFON investigator Chris Stiles, I don't think there's any relation to Harry Styles, so I just had to say that.
Okay.
But Chris Stiles, he was very intrigued with the whole Shag Harbour case. And he himself, he was like, you know what? I personally want answers, so I'm going to go get them. Mm-hmm. Which I can see that being me one day. But yeah, he ended up getting the entire list of witnesses who, from the police, I guess, who witnessed the lights. And he tracked down and talked to almost every single one of them. There was a couple that he couldn't find. Some of them might have even died since then. But he talked to literally almost all of them. And Chris was assisted in this by investigator Doug Ledger as well. Mm-hmm. So these two men, they would end up discovering some pretty compelling evidence with these interviews. And I don't know if the military, I'm sure the police and the military did do interviews with these people, like right after it happened, but they were never made public if they did, or maybe they didn't interview them. I guess we don't know that answer. Mm-hmm. But regardless, we don't know what the interviews were or would have been like right after the incident, but we do know what the interviews were like 30 years later. So
okay.
So not only did these men interview the witnesses, they also interviewed people in the military, people in the police, and the divers. So everyone involved, these people they interviewed. And the divers and some of the eyewitnesses told these men that they thought the object that dove into the waters also flew back out of the water that day and traveled. Their theory is that it traveled 25 miles away to a place called Government Point, which was near a submarine detection base. So, like, I know that's a lot. Yeah,
because why would they randomly go there?
I do believe that's where the Russian submarine was parked at. So let me just go ahead
Oh.
and say that. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that, I think that was like people were like, the submarine is weird. But
Yeah.
no, we'll get into why they're saying this here in a minute. But I do think that these people assumed that this was like public knowledge. So that's why I'm saying
Okay.
I think that these people were obviously interviewed by the military and they kept all of that private. They didn't
Right.
want the story getting out more.
Okay.
Because this is already more information. They said, yeah, they saw the thing fly into the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's the military story. These people are now saying, yeah, it shot back out of the water too. And we saw it fly away.
Yeah.
They're hiding the story.
Yeah.
They're hiding the story, guys.
That is a different part of the story than we heard. So.
Yeah, well, there's more.
Okay.
There's more. So, you see, it turns out this object, you might say, okay, yeah, sure. The witnesses can say they saw it fly out of the water. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, military members who were working that day say and claim that this object was spotted on sonar at the submarine base. And that is how they know that it was 25 miles away at the submarine base, is because the sonar picked it up and the investigators were just not being forthcoming with that information. They wanted to keep it secret.
Huh.
Yes.
And how long did it take for them to get 25 miles?
I don't know.
I
don't know if I think what is like the difference is like the witnesses saw it fly away, and the people in the military who were near the submarine base saw it coming towards them, but I don't think there was somebody who knew the whole thing was happening at once to know like how long it took.
Yeah.
But something else that they did not disclose to the public was that there was actually another vessel.
Oh my gosh, what?
Positioned with this flying object. There was two flying objects flying together. And so I think the reason that this part, I mean, maybe they didn't want to scare people and they were like, okay, yeah, there's two UFOs. Right. But they were also flying. They say that they were flying parallel to each other. So from the sonar, at first you couldn't tell that it was two because you could only see one, because it's not 3D.
Yes.
But then,
so it looked like
it looked like one because they were flying like this.
Yes.
But then eventually they could tell, oh, there's two objects that are flying through the air, flying into the submarine base. Okay. So the belief, the theory that these people have is that the second craft / UFO or whatever was there to help the first, because only one craft was found in Shag Harbour. For real. All those people only saw one. But then when it gets 25 miles to the submarine base, suddenly there's two. So it's like, oh, maybe it was struggling. Maybe the ship or whatever it was, whether it be an alien UFO or a plane from spies, maybe the ship was breaking down, or not the ship, the plane UFO. Maybe the engine was failing and somebody needed to help them, Yeah. Regardless. Somebody needed help.
What if it always was two and it broke into two?
Listen, that's another theory.
It split into two midair.
Maybe. Listen, maybe, because guess what? We don't have any answers past that. But let me see. I lost my spot. Okay. So now we've moved from the Shag Harbour. Now we're at the sub base, right? The submarine base, where these people are watching it on the sonar, and now they're like, okay, let's go outside and see what the heck is this, right?
Yeah.
This is where the witnesses claim, both civilian and military, okay, that they saw two UFOs shoot up from the water into the sky and fly away. Not into the water, they shot up into the sky and fly away. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. You just gotta suspend all your belief and just follow me with the story,
Like I'm trying to just picture it in my head.
Yep. And the big unfortunate part of this is that these reports, they were, as I said, they're given from military and civilian people. But the reports given by the military people were given off the record because they did not want to lose their jobs. And they said that. They straight up said that. They were like, we can't lose our job. And I mean, I understand. Like, don't lose your job just to be like, But they're like,
okay, but at the same time, does that even matter, putting it off the record? Because why would you be saying it then? Like, if you're really just gonna tell a lie like that,
Mhm.
just don't even, like,
Just don't even say it. You'd rather not know.
I don't know. No, I'm just saying, like, would there be a benefit to them lying to these people?
Oh, like the military?
Yes,
Well, I
like,
think they just don't ever want to get in trouble. Like, that's what I think. That's why I
no,
think they
I'm
always
just
lie.
saying, I'm just saying, okay, so you said these people, the military people, were interviewed
Mm-hmm.
off the record.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I believe them because why else would they be doing this
Oh,
unless
exactly.
it's true?
Exactly.
You know, like, that's
Like,
what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Like,
for sure. And also, like,
yes,
it's
it was off
already
the
a
record.
risk to their jobs, them even saying anything.
Exactly.
And, like, yeah, we
even
don't
if
have
it's
their names, and
even
that's
if
what it
it's
means by off the record. Yeah.
it's like, oh, I guess, is that what it is? You
Yeah,
don't
they
have
just
their
don't have
name.
their names.
But, like, I don't know
You could
why.
still
Why
find
else would
out.
you agree to, like, do a whole interview and stuff? Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know. I guess for fun, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go lie to these people today.
Right.
Like,
right. And that would
I'm
be
saying,
crazy.
like, I believe them just because of that. I mean, maybe that's naive, but
like, that's a lot of people also to lie the same story. It's not like
right.
it's not like it's two people. It's like 20, 30, 40, 50 people
Yeah.
all saying the same story.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's almost like, how can it be fake unless all these people have been meeting up for these 30 years and being like, all right, guys, let's just lie and make up this crazy UFO story. And honestly, no hate to these people. If they were making it up, why didn't you make it up a better story? It's not even that good of a story, which makes me believe it more. Like, we just saw lights,
Right.
you know? They're not like, yeah, the alien got off the ship and, like, gave me a high five and then started dancing. Like,
yeah, it's like, then I was like, okay, I don't know about
right. Like, I don't know. It's believable. It's believable. But even though, we may literally have no choice but to believe what these people say and, take their word for what happened.
Yeah.
There is no doubt without a fact that on the night of October 4th, 1967, something unknown definitely crashed into the waters of Shag Harbor. That is on the record from the military. Okay. So there is no question about whether if there was a UFO and if it crashed in the water, it did. Per the military.
Something, yeah.
So something whatever it may be, crashed in that water that day. And you can believe or not believe anything else that was said after that, but, like, what was it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I think it was an alien. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It could have been some sort of technology that some government was developing, or maybe aliens. Because also there's that whole thing about aliens living in water.
Yeah,
like,
that's
they're
the thing.
in the water.
That's the thing. But also a part of me is like, okay, this is like near the submarine base. Like, maybe it's just the military trying out their new, like,
right, it could
submarine planes. Like, they can be both. Like, go in the water and fly. I don't know. Regardless, it's weird. And also, like, I don't know, maybe if the military wasn't so secretive, maybe we wouldn't have all these conspiracy theories.
Right.
You know?
Right, like, just tell us the fact.
Can you just let us know? Also, it's been like almost 70 years at this point, guys. What are we going to do about it now? Just tell us. What was it?
It's because, okay, but what if it really is high-tech stuff that they've been developing, and that's why they're not telling us? Because it's like, okay, we still haven't come out with it.
Oh, well.
So it's still secret, and we've technically had it for so long.
Okay, if you're in the military and you know some answers, can we have them? I won't say them. I'll just keep them up here, and I'll just know.
Right. Yeah.
Let me know. But, yeah, that's the legend of the Shag Harbour UFO.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what it was. And I guess we'll never know. Why are both of our stories plane crashes that we just don't know what the heck happened? No answer? That's crazy.
Like a big drone. What if it's a big drone?
Okay, also, pause before I get into your theory to your story. What if both of these were caused by the same thing? Like, Alaska's really close to Canada. What if, I don't know, like, is this a common thing? Like, I guess, yeah. I don't know. But anyway, back to the theory of your story.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, and I don't know, I don't know the geography of Alaska, so that might throw this whole theory off.
Okay.
But
wait, maybe we should look it up.
So, like, where did the story take place again?
The Gulf of Alaska.
Okay, I have no idea where that is. what immediately when you said the plane went missing and we're in Alaska, all I could think about was the Alaskan Triangle, which, if you don't know what that is, we did cover it. I don't know what episode, but essentially it's like the Bermuda Triangle, but it's in Alaska where planes like go missing and never are found. So I'm like, did that happen in the Alaskan Triangle?
Okay, the Alaskan Triangle. Is this correct that it's over top of the land?
Yeah, it is.
So it's not actually
It's not in
part of the ocean.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean, except for
that's-
like the bottom right there, might be a little bit of ocean. I can't really tell. Or also the top point.
I was just looking up a map.
Yeah, I was like, where the heck
Where'd
is
it
the
go?
Gulf?
Where'd it
I hate when that
go?
happens. The Gulf of Alaska. I've never actually even heard of the Gulf of
No,
Alaska.
it's down here.
Oh, well, it kind of is then.
Yeah.
Like, it depends how far out. Listen, I don't know. Go back and listen to that episode and let us know. Let us know if there's any connections, because I am intrigued by that. It's the first thing that came to my head. That one was an older story.
Yeah, honestly,
A while ago.
you might be onto something there.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just saying we're adding to the list of legends, but we might have to do a recap because
Yes.
that one's crazy. But definitely go check that out. And definitely be sure to check out our Instagram to see pictures from our stories this week. I don't know what pictures we're going to post because we just have missing flying objects.
Right. Okay, actually
That's
though,
funny.
this picture. Whenever you look up pictures on
Yeah.
Google, they get so small.
It's horrible.
Okay, so this one, the base is there.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And then they got lost somewhere there. But just remember though that this is way bigger than it looks just on the map.
Yeah.
So, but they were pretty close. Relatively close to their destination.
Yeah, I really don't think it's that far. But I mean, obviously a map is tiny, so.
Yeah.
You know.
They were relatively close to their destination and then they crashed, which is actually even sadder.
Very. No, that's horrible. Also, let it be known that the Alaskan Triangle is episode 17.
Okay.
Chat, that's really old. I can't even imagine what that sounds like.
I know.
Go back and listen and let us know.
Yeah.
We were like recording in a closet and under a comforter at that point in time. Yeah. So
we can redo some of these if you guys want.
Yeah, let us know. Comment down below. But check out our YouTube and our TikTok while you're at checking out everything else.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really have anything else for you guys this week. What about you, Savannah?
No, nothing else.
Okay, well, happy Pride, everybody. And happy Wednesday. And I guess we will see you guys next week.
Okay, cue the music.